This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Savannah Marshall here over Zoom. Savannah, first of all, thank you very much for your time today. And how is everything?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks. A little bit tired, but apart from that, I'm sweet.
Well, let's talk about Saturday night. An incredible occasion. You made your MMA debut. A few days on now. How do you reflect on that occasion?
Just crazy. Absolutely mental experience. It was if I know they say that MMA is literally having a fight, and that's how I felt. It was literally fight or flight.
Fair enough. And were you shocked at all by how tough the opponent was? Because you were hitting her with everything you had in there at some points, and she just seemed to stand there and take it all in. Were you surprised by that?
Um, I wasn't surprised at how tough she was. I was actually she was actually better than what I thought she was. I'd studied her for a couple of months, and from what I'd seen, that was the best version of her that turned up.
And how good was that feeling of obviously we know you're a big Newcastle United fan, you were from Newcastle, walking out in front of a home crowd wearing your Newcastle United shirt, knowing that you're about to make some form of history and making your MMA debut. What was the emotions like in that walk to the smart cage?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. It was, like I said, it's an experience. It's an experience that I hadn't experienced before. Totally different from boxing. Different people. Just a whole different like vibe.
And when your opponent was landing the takedowns on you, was it almost a bit of a shock to your body? So I know that you're used to being in fights before where you're getting hit, but when you get into MMA, it's a whole different type of game to boxing. Were you almost a bit surprised when the takedowns were landing and you were on your back?
No, I wasn't surprised. It was just so quick. Like I was told beforehand that look, it's not like boxing. You get in there, you have a feel for your jab, a couple of rounds to warm up. It is literally you get on there and they start fast. And it was just everything was just like it was like all technique just went out the window. It was that fast. And even after when I got out the cage, like people were saying, "Oh, she had you in a head and arm choke," and I remember thinking, "Did she?" Like I just literally it happened that quick. I hadn't had time to process actually what had happened.
Was it almost a bit different? So obviously, like you say in boxing, you fight over the 10 round format normally now as a champion. You have a lot of time to figure out your opponent and break her down. But with MMA, it's completely different. Were you prepared for that though? Did you go over that all in training?
Um, I did, but to be honest, one thing that I was a bit disappointed with that I've worked really hard on kind of changing my boxing stance to suit MMA. And as soon as that bell went, it all just went out the window, and I felt like I resorted back to what I knew. So I was quite disappointed in that. But look, I've worked really hard on getting up off the floor, and I managed to do it a few times, so I'm happy with that.
And now that you've fought in both, what would you say is tougher, MMA or boxing?
Or MMA, hands down. Honestly, hands down. How and I take my hat off to any MMA fighter because it is totally like I said, it's literally kill or be killed.
And obviously, ringside, there was a certain spectator that you've got a bit of history with in Clarissa Shields. She said in an interview with Seconds Out that if it was you two in the cage on Saturday night, that she would have beat you, and then went on to say that if the fight did make the second round, you wouldn't have been able to do another 5 minutes because of how tired you were. How do you respond to that statement from Clarissa?
What? How tired I'd be if I fought her.
Well, so what she said is that if it was you two in there in Newcastle on Saturday night, she
I
would have
would,
beat you.
and I wouldn't be able to go out for a second round because I'd be
No,
too
that's what she said.
tired. Oh. Clarissa has never stopped anyone in her whole career. She's gonna
Um,
come alive when she fights me.
and is the intention now to fight Clarissa in the smart cage?
Yeah, it is for me. Look, the whole reason why I've done this is to get that rematch with her. Um, Obviously, in an ideal world, I'd like to have a couple more. But look, if the opportunity comes, the opportunity comes. I'm going to take it. I've learned from boxing that these things don't come around every day. You've got to grab them with both hands when they come. So I think it's all about. I know she's fighting soon, boxing. So it's all about just seeing what happens in the next couple of weeks.
And why is it that you want to have this rematch in MMA? Because normally when you see a big fight in boxing, normally you would run the rematch in the same sport. Why is it that you two have decided to come over to PFL and MMA to have a settle the score, I guess you could say?
I honestly don't know. I have an idea why it hasn't happened in weirdly enough, she in boxing she always wanted it in America, but she knows fine well that I can't go to America because my coach can't get into America. So it's a bit like, why are you still running with that when you know it's not possible? But obviously in MMA it's a different team. So look, I'm willing to go to America in that case. Um, but then it's even look, I know it's a little bit MMA is a bit bigger in America, which I get, and also there's the option of going to Saudi because the Saudis on PFL. So there's loads of different options. Where in boxing it was just a bit. Look, female boxing's only really big at the minute in the UK. Why not like capitalize on that? And she was never interested. But not only that, there was a lot going on behind the scenes, and I think that hindered the rematch.
And also, you mentioned having different teams in MMA. I want to ask you, what is it like working with the Aspinalls? I saw you had UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall there in your corner on Saturday. What was it like working with them and, working your way up in MMA training with them?
It's been really good. It's been nice. They're really nice people. They've been very patient with me. And I've known them for quite a while, so it was just look, it was a nice experience to get out there and obviously have them with me.
And if, for whatever reason, a fight with Clarissa Shields can't be made next, will you be sticking with MMA to get some more experience under your belt, or will you be eyeing up a return to the boxing ring?
At the minute, I honestly do not know. I think it's just what happens in the next couple of weeks when the dust settles. Obviously, my main priority is boxing. Um, it'll be nearly a year since I've fought. So obviously Ben Shalom was there, my promoter at the weekend. It's all just to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I haven't got anything in the pipeline at the minute.
And then my final question, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we know how big of a fan you are of Newcastle United. If there was
Mhm.
a dream fight for to happen at St James's Park, what would it be?
Oh, it'd have to be Clarissa. You know, she keeps getting brought up all the time, but because there's literally nobody there else for me to fight. At those heavier divisions, there isn't. It's not like Katie where she's got two, three opponents sat there waiting, high level opponents, world class. It's not like that at the heavier weights. And to be honest, I'm sick of the sight of her. I really am. But look, there's nobody left for me to fight really, and I know there's opponents coming up, but does it have the same? Does it have the same buzz? Does it have the same get me up and go type thing? No, not really.
Well, Savannah, thank you very much for your time and congratulations on a very successful debut on Saturday night. And thank you for your time here on Seconds Out today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.